Hi, my name is Andrea, and I am a full-time stay-at-home caregiver to my mom with Alzheimer's. And last year, I hit my highest weight ever, which was almost 230 pounds. And as of today, which is it's April 30th, I think, April 30th, I have lost just over 60 pounds. And as a caregiver, I know for a fact that it can be really, really overwhelming if you have health goals to pursue those goals and try to lose weight, get more active, whichever your goal may be, because you are literally deep into the caregiving journey, which is overwhelming. It's stressful, it's sad, it's frustrating, it's so many things. And trying to focus on losing weight, getting healthier, getting a little bit more fit, whichever your goal is, like the idea of it can feel like overwhelm on top of overwhelm. But I want to share with you today the things that I did in order to lose my 60 plus pounds, how I did it naturally, and how I did it in a way that was truly the most peaceful process that I've ever had in trying to lose weight before. So let's get into it and let's try to inspire some hope, because our health matters too. So I'm going to start at the beginning before I started losing weight to kind of give you a background on where I was at and what kind of sparked the weight loss. So before I started losing weight, life was very, very stressful. I was super anxious. I was dealing with depression. I was heavy into binge eating at the time. I was in a really stressful new job that I just wasn't adjusting well to as much as I had hoped. Just moved me and my mom to another city so that I could be closer to like support and resources for myself as a caregiver for her, as someone with Alzheimer's. And I just moved a family member in with us for additional support and, new job. Just like a lot of new stuff going on and a lot of stuff that I was struggling with. And as a result, unfortunately, of I think the move and changes and things, my mom declined a lot. And so then I was also trying to figure out what this new caregiving journey looked like with her new decline. So it was a lot. I was trying loosely to lose weight. Very, very loosely. I would love to say that I was fully committed, but I wasn't. I was trying to do what I felt like I could do at the time, because the idea of doing all of the things to lose weight felt way too complicated and stressful and just too much. I was feeling so crummy because I thought that I was really going through perimenopause. I'm 41 years old and I was having what felt like perimenopausal symptoms. Long story short, I was feeling I think my metabolism is broken. I think that, perimenopause set in and I just can't lose weight like I used to. I'm going to have to do weight loss totally differently. And so the thought of all of so much change, I don't know if you're getting the theme, but there was a lot of new stuff going on. And I felt like I hit a wall in life in general. It was at this point that I was truly considering getting on Ozempic or some other type of GLP-1 shot or something, because I felt like I was at a place where I felt hopeless. It was going to be impossible for me to lose weight on my own. I felt like I lost my weight loss mojo. And I'm okay, this is just where I'm at in life. I did not hate my body. I've never hated my body. I felt uncomfortable in how heavy I was and how clothes didn't fit well. But I worked with what I had, okay? I knew that there were certain areas in my life that I would show up brighter and better in if my health piece and my physical body felt more comfortable. Those were really big motivators for me wanting to lose weight, on top of the fact that I was really, and still am, concerned and aware of the risks that I have as being a caregiver to someone with Alzheimer's, the risks that I have to develop it myself. Having a poor diet, not moving your body very much, being under constant stress, constant fight or flight, none of those things bode well with Alzheimer's. In fact, all of those things can help contribute to get dementia and Alzheimer's, like, to bring it up in your life, and I don't want that. But then things changed and I pivoted, and I didn't end up getting on it. Instead of getting on Ozempic, I made the intentional decision to quit my job. It did not work with my caregiving journey. I did not have the space to be a present caregiver, and it just wasn't for me. So after a lot of thought and a lot of prayer and crunching numbers and deciding what I was willing to sacrifice, I quit. And that was really the beginning of a lot of changes for me and what really helped kick off my weight loss. It was so much more than what I had even considered it might be. Because I wanted to make sure that my weight loss and the things that I would need to do to lose weight and get healthier would need to be sustainable and things that I could do long term, I needed to make sure that I did the process in a way that didn't feel rushed. I wasn't trying to rush to lose weight for summer or for a vacation. I wanted to make sure that it was something that did not overwhelm me, that just honestly felt comfortable, felt like it was something that was seamlessly just a part of my life. So I chose to phase things in, to phase changes into my life until I got to a place to where eventually I had the whole package. So how I did it was I ended up doing it in 4 phases. And let me tell you, first of all, I didn't go into this with an entire, really thought out plan. I just knew I don't want it to feel hard. I don't want to hate life while I'm doing it. I don't want to be overwhelmed, and I want it to be something that I can stick with long term because this is a life commitment that I need to make. And I knew that the biggest focus that I needed, my tip-top priority, was to just start losing weight. Just that's it. Phase 1 was movement. I knew that I was not moving my body very much at all. It wasn't about working out or being in the gym. It was just moving my body. I was just like, I'm going to try and get to 10,000 steps every single day just here at home. First of all, I live in an apartment, in a 3-bedroom apartment. It is not big. It's not a penthouse suite. There's not a ton of places to walk. So I had to get creative and just get into action. I cleaned a lot. I just always basically gave myself a reason to get up and wipe countertops or sweep or anything. I followed my mom around a lot, which might sound weird, but if you have a loved one with Alzheimer's, depending on where they are in the disease, my mom, she paces constantly. She is not someone to sit around. So she's constantly roaming. So I basically just followed her around, which she did not mind at all. I just stayed busy and stayed on my feet a lot. And I got my 10,000 steps every day. And that was phase 1. Phase 2 for me was snacking. I was someone who would do a lot of late night snacking while I was Netflixing in bed or sitting on the couch. And I love my potato chips, my Lay's, my chips and dip, my what else would I do? Hostess cakes and things like that. And I would eat, there was no amount of moderation. Potentially eat a whole bag of Lay's or close to a whole bag, or I would eat multiple Hostess cakes, or I was eating a lot of calories at night and stuff that was just not good for me. And then I wondered why I felt like crap in the morning every single day. I wanted to create some boundaries on this snacking because it wasn't making me feel good in general, and I knew it was just helping to pack on weight because I'm eating potentially 1,000 calories or more and then going to sleep. Not great. I set a cutoff time for myself, which said at this time I'm not going to eat any food at that point. I'm not going to be snacking at that point. So I set it as 7 p.m. for myself. No snacks after that. I did allow myself, if I was super hungry and if I had drank water, if I had drank some tea, if I had tried to do something else to distract me, and let's say my stomach was still hungry, then it's just it might be that I just need to eat. And in order to keep myself from a potential binge, I would eat something, but I would either make sure that it was something like a piece of fruit or a protein, whether you think that this is the healthiest option or not. It was like, turkey slices. I would have turkey, like deli turkey slices, or I would have some, a couple strawberries or something like that. But I made sure that it was something that was not a trigger food for me, and that was a healthier option. Phase 3 is when I started watching my calories and tracking what I was eating, so I even knew how many calories I was eating. I downloaded MyFitnessPal. I have used that plenty of times in the past. It's easy, it's free. I knew that I was eating a lot of calories and a lot of fat and a lot of carbs and all of that stuff. I knew it was bananas, but once you track it, and I'm talking, you don't lie to yourself. You don't only track certain things, but then not other things. You track everything. You're like, whoa, I'm over consuming. No wonder I am struggling to lose weight, or I don't feel great, or whatever. Like I'm, thousands and thousands of, milligrams or whatever of sodium. It's a reality check. Once I started tracking, then I was able to see where I was way, way, way over, and I was able to create a starting point for creating a calorie deficit, which a calorie deficit is just something that you need to do as a part of weight loss. It's not fun because it means that there's going to be times where you're going to feel a little hungry while your body adjusts to eating less, but it just has to happen. And I started with just a small reduction, didn't do anything crazy. I didn't want to feel like I was starving. I wanted to do this process in a way that just felt good and empowering. And so I can't remember, to be absolutely honest, I can't remember the amount of a deficit that I did, but I did my deficit in increments. And it doesn't mean that I was eating healthier necessarily at that point. I was just lowering my calories and keeping myself accountable for what I was putting into my body. The next phase is when I started to get intentional about working out. And so I decided, all right, I'm feeling ready to get into the gym. At this point, I had already lost some weight, okay? And that was just from moving my body more at home, cutting down on snacking, or substituting snacking if I felt like I really needed to or wanted to, with healthier options, or with fruit, or with some kind of protein, and also tracking my calories and lowering them once I knew what I was actually eating. So I had already started to build momentum in my weight loss, and I was finally comfortable to even be in a gym, because up until then I didn't want to be in gym clothes in a gym. I began by waking up early to get into the gym before I would start the day with my mom. And at the time it was like in the middle of winter, so it was dark outside and cold and snowy in Michigan, but I got my butt to the gym, and guess what? All I did was walk. I wasn't lifting weights. I wasn't doing Pilates. I was literally just walking. I would get my 10,000 steps in at the beginning of the day before I was getting my mom up. And then that way I didn't feel like I was constantly working against a clock or having to like work for my steps all throughout the day. I just got them in and got it done. It was such a turning point for my mental health to have that time for myself right in the beginning of the day, to get my body moving right in the beginning of the day, to get my goal in right in the beginning of the day. I did not go super fast. I would go like a 3, was it mile per, whatever it is, like a 3 on the speed scale, but typically like a 2.8. I wasn't doing an incline. I wasn't wearing ankle weights. I wasn't doing anything special other than just walking. That's it. And I've always loved walking. I mean, even as a teenager, I would, walk laps with my mom or other ladies, friends. We would just walk. So it was something that's always been enjoyable to me. On my walks, I listen to podcasts. I listen to music. I watch a movie, watch YouTube. I might read a book. Like, there's so many things. Answer DMs and comments on social media. I always stayed busy and occupied, and the time would go by super fast. The next phase was when I started to actually eat cleaner and be intentional about nutrition. Not perfect. Okay, doesn't mean that I was not eating any carbs or not eating sweets, but super intentional about eating cleaner. For me, what it looked like was upping my protein, lowering the amount of carbs I ate. Really, I think that's it. I mean, I didn't complicate it. The whole point of this process was not to have anything complicated. It was just about intention and making sure that when I'm like grocery shopping and the foods that I'm eating, that there's a whole lot less processed foods there. A whole lot less just like snack foods, but actually foods that would fill me up, that would energize me, that would make it to where I wasn't hungry, like, you know, in another 30-45 minutes. For me, that looked like I started eating breakfast. I never was really a breakfast person, at least at home, like making breakfast. It wasn't something I was super passionate about. But what that meant was that I would just end up eating, like overeating at lunchtime, or eating a bunch of like random snacks and stuff leading up to lunchtime. So I was like eating a breakfast's worth of calories, but in terrible nutrition and stuff that would just like create that terrible afternoon or late morning slump. My favorite breakfast was eggs and then chicken sausage, like this Italian chicken sausage. Super easy. I would just scramble those, cut up like the chicken sausage and put it in there, dice up some cherry tomatoes, like a little bit of truffle salt, just a little bit, and that would be it. And it would keep me full, and I enjoyed it. I started making sure that I was having at least one salad a day. So I would have a salad at lunchtime, and not just any salad, but I made a salad that I freaking crave. I still crave to this day. Something that I love and that's tasty, because that's important to me. Because one thing about me, I would eat a salad at a restaurant and I would be like, oh my God, this is so good. I would try to recreate salads at home and I'm like, why do these suck? This does not taste good. I feel like I am, you know, like a horse or some other animal that's just like ripping the leaves off tree branches. And I've been eating the same freaking salad for months and I love it. I'm not tired of it yet. I crave it. I am sad if I'm away from home and I can't eat it. So that is a win. I'll be completely honest. Dinners are just like whatever I feel like in the moment. As long as it's something that, again, is higher protein. I do like to not have too many carbs closer to bed. I just feel like it just makes me feel like bloated and just not very great. I try to save those for earlier in the day. Dinner, I kind of keep loosey-goosey, especially because depending on how much I've ate during the day, sometimes I'm not even hungry to eat a full dinner, because when you are eating a higher protein diet and you know you're having a good amount of fiber in your diet as well, like protein and fiber are equally so important to eat together, you will find that you're full, you're satisfied. I kind of keep it loosey-goosey because I don't like too much structure. I still want to feel like I have freedom to choose and just like figure it out as I go. The last phase, which is equally as if a little bit more important in a way than all of the other phases that I implemented, was really, really shifting my mindset. The changes that came in the last phase were things like the way that I socialized. For instance, you know, not centering food with all of my friendship interactions. Like if I want to see a friend, or if my friend is like, hey, you want to hang out, not making food the center of our activities. Let's go out to dinner. Let's go drinking. Let's go to this food festival. Not centering food in a social life. Suggesting other options like, oh, you want to go, you know, there's this museum exhibit. Let's go somewhere and grab a tea. Let's go walk a trail. I have always lived a social life, a travel life, a celebration life that was all centered around food. If I was happy, I ate. If I was sad, I ate. If I wanted to celebrate, I ate. If I was regretting something, I ate. If I wanted to see a friend, I ate. If I went on a date, I ate. If I wanted to travel, the whole point of travel was to eat. And so that was a huge mindset shift of not centering my life around food, and recognizing that food is not the point of living. Life is the point of living, and food is an accessory to life. Another part of my mindset shift was empowering myself to say no to seconds, to say no if someone was trying to push food on me that I knew wouldn't make me feel good, would be a trigger food, like let's say McDonald's and things like that are trigger foods and that make me want to eat more of it. Being okay with not eating everything that's on my plate. Allowing my stomach to not get over full, but just get to the point to where it's satisfied. Being okay with not doing eating and movement and life like maybe everyone else that is around me that is doing life the way that I used to when I centered food. It challenges friendships and relationships. It challenges kind of like how you interact with people and how some people interact with you. It's really weird. It shouldn't, like how you eat and how you treat your own body shouldn't, but it does. I don't know why. All of these different, like the mindset shifts that I had to focus on so that I can make this a lifestyle, and so that I remember and feel empowered in my why, and so that I can continue to advocate for myself and why it's so important that I'm making certain changes that I'm making, and why it matters to me, and why it doesn't matter if someone else doesn't agree. So those were the phases that I went through in this weight loss journey to get me to where I am right now. I did it in a way that felt good, that felt energizing, empowering, sustainable, not overwhelming, and in a way that actually gave me space to learn and to process and to solidify lessons instead of doing weight loss like I was sprinting towards something. I'm super grateful that I didn't give up on myself and that I fought for myself. Not because anyone told me that I needed to, not because summer's coming up, not to be hot for some guy, but for me. So again, I am sharing this today to encourage you in remembering that you matter, you are worth fighting for. If you don't feel great in your own skin, remember you only get this one life. You get this one body. And though we cannot predict, we don't have control over every single thing, the best we can do is to do something, and to do something today. It is attainable to become a healthier, more whole, more vibrant, more confident version of yourself while you are also caring for someone else. Just because you don't have the space or the energy or the bandwidth to go all in, to do all the things, does not mean that the things you can do don't have value. It doesn't mean that you can't build momentum on every action. That's what I did. I just was like, okay, here's the first phase. All right, I got that locked in, feels good. I'm going to add another layer. All right, got that locked in, going to add another layer. And so I'm just like building an entire like toolkit and building layer onto layer of a healthier lifestyle, to where like all the layers below it are just strengthening me, are strengthening my resolve, are helping me to become a more resilient human being. It's empowering me to learn my body, to learn what feels good as far as eating, what feels good as far as movement, and I'm learning, and because I'm learning and I'm taking time and I'm allowing myself to marinate in every phase, I'm actually retaining the process. I think that is so invaluable, truly. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. I have been overwhelmed. I have been stressed. I have been depressed. I have felt like my metabolism is broken. This is the end of me being able to lose weight. I can't do all of those things. I've been there. It is attainable if you're willing to take one step at a time. You can do it in a way that fits into your life, that feels good and feels empowering. Weight loss doesn't have to equal misery. Movement doesn't have to equal misery. So I'm hoping that my little story time here can help you envision what your weight loss journey can look like, to where it feels empowering and it doesn't feel like it's adding, a bunch of extra, for lack of better words, weight onto the heaviness that you can feel in your life already. If you have any questions or anything like that, like, comment below. I would love to interact and support, or if you want me to do any follow-up videos, I can do that as well. But all right, thank you so much. I'm thinking of you all and praying for your continued progress in your health journey, and we can do this. You've got this. I did want to mention supplements that I have taken, though, even though I haven't done any like GLP-1 or anything like that. I have done some supplements that I have found to be super helpful. One of those is taking an electrolyte powder. I have found that has helped me to actually quiet some of the food noise. And I think it's because I didn't quite realize how dehydrated I was for a long time, because I thought that I was drinking enough water, but clearly I wasn't, because once I added an electrolyte in, I saw a huge difference in my clarity, in like a lessening of food noise, in I just felt better. I also have started to take a greens powder. I have taken greens powders in the past. I've tried the popular ones that are like the Kayali Bloom, Clean Simple Eats. They're good, like they taste good, and I feel like that is a huge draw for the ones that are flavored, because greens powder like tastes green. But I have been trying one that is actually created by one of my close friends, and by close I mean we've been friends for like 20 years. He's the healthiest person I know. He owned a juice bar in Chicago that was super popular and successful, and he had since tried to find a way to scale his business and to provide the products that people already knew and loved to a larger amount of people. And so he came up with Fupa water. Yes, you heard me correctly, Fupa. We all know what the Fupa is, okay? For me, Fupa water kind of tastes like, you know how lime adds that tang or that citrusy tang to things? Like, that's what it reminds me of as far as the taste. And so I just kind of sip on that, and I would take that in the morning and drink it kind of a little bit during my workout. I noticed with my period, when it was that time of the month, I get really, really, really bloated. I mean, I'm talking like really bloated. I look like I'm pregnant. I'm uncomfortable. I just wear stretchy pants and leggings because anything tight around my waist is uncomfortable. So when I'm working out on my period, I wear sweatshirts or oversized shirts, things that don't show that I'm bloated. My first time using Fupa water while on my period and during my weight loss journey was the first and only time that I did not have to alter or change the clothes that I was wearing to the gym. I didn't have to alter or change the clothes that I wore in everyday life because I was not bloated. I didn't look any different on my period than I did when I was not on my period. And that I have never experienced. And I mean ever. So that was when I was just like, okay, this is something that I believe in. Just because he's my friend doesn't mean that I was going to love the product. But I do. I take it to minimize bloating, and to just make my stomach and digestion feel better. Other people use it for weight loss and have seen results in their waist, especially. Electrolytes, Fupa water. And then I was also using, this is super random, and consult your doctor or healthcare person about this, but this was a random purchase that I found on Amazon, and it's called Skinny Sticks. and they were helping with my appetite so much. Their little mixture, they have flavors like maybe a lemon lime and like some kind of fruit kind or what have you, and you mix it in. It gave me a little bit of a caffeine boost. It helped with my appetite, like especially like crazy cravings. I use it like in the afternoon, mid-afternoon, for any like late day snacky snacks that I might get and feel. And I've went through 3 boxes of it. So yeah, it's good. So outside of those, the electrolytes, fupa water, and then skinny sticks, I've been just doing a multivitamin. I do iron, take liquid iron when I'm on my period. And is there anything else? I don't think that's it. I don't think that there's anything else. I think that's it. Electrolytes, fupa water, skinny sticks, and I use those as needed. I don't use them every single day. And a multivitamin and iron when I am on my period. So I will have links to everything in the description, and I hope you find something that you enjoy, because I know that they've helped me.